Hello guys, welcome to weekly outlook here on gold, pound USD, USDCAD, and of course the DXY. I already had my setup all completed. What I'm looking out for here on DXY is a possible continuation to the downside here. So last 2 weeks we had this dump, and then last week I anticipated a pullback and then a continuation, and it took the whole of last week to make this pullback. Now price is at the critical area. If we pull up our Fibonacci retracement to pull it from this drop to this drop, and we'll see price at 50% retracement area. And what I'm looking out for is a possible continuation from that region to the downside. Okay, and you can see possible take profit region 0 and 27, then 61.8 TP levels. Okay, so I'm looking out for this a possible pullback continuation from these regions down to these regions, a possible break retest. This might take weeks, of course, but I'm looking out for a continuation to the downside. Otherwise, we might actually just get maybe an overextension to like 61.8 region, price to play around this region here, then before we get that dump to the downside. Okay, all right. So if we're going to get a downward movement here on DXY this week, then I'll be looking out for, first on gold, a possible pullback to the upside here. We had gold break up to the regions of 2010 region, and what I'm anticipating is like a continuation from this region. Let's look at it from the daily time frame perspective. So two things on gold, we might actually see gold just continue to the downside from this region. So these are two things. One, price to pull back from this region to retest this region, then we'll form like a head and shoulder pattern and then continue to the downside. Or we can just get that price movement from that region, retest these highs, a possible break and retest, and then we'll continue to the upside, to 2040, 2045, or let's just say 2024, first. The reason is because we might still see, the uncertainty in the market because of the Israel-Palestine war and all, and then we might still see, gold bullishness. But if there's, a little change in whatever is going on, like things settling, then we might just see that pullback to this region, and then we might see gold just continue to the downside. All right. Then pound USD, still remember DXY being bearish. If we're going to get a bearish DXY, then we might actually just see, pound USD be broken down through a downward trend line. On the 4 hours time frame, we see it clearly. Downward trend line broken, made a high, came back to this important region, came back for a retest. I'm looking out for price to just continue to the upside here, either coming back here to create a head and shoulder pattern, come back again one more time to test this trend line and continue to the upside, retesting these regions for the week. Or we could just get, price from this area, come back to this region, break, retest, and continue to the upside. All right. And lastly, we might actually even see if price comes back to this region, we might get to the downward push and come back to break this downward trend line and continue to these regions. All right. If price breaks these regions here, I'll be looking out for a potential right to the downside to retest 121 or 120.50. That might be only if really we see like a DXY move to really like break these regions. Let's see these regions here and start coming back to this region. If we see that price do that, a good break of this region, we see a continuation of price to retest here, then we might actually still get a bearish movement on DXL on pound USD to the downside. Lastly, USDCAD, I'm anticipating it to go down as same as the DXY, anticipating DXY to, let me take this off. Anticipating DXY to continue to the downside. Here we've seen price come back to a very critical region and then made a good move. So what I'm anticipating here for the USDCAD is just a continue to the downside, like a good push to the downside, possible break of this upward trend line, and we'll see price continue to the downside here. All right, this is what I'm anticipating for USDCAD. If price breaks above this region, then we're looking at for buys. And lastly, EU same as pound USD. We're looking for a bullish continuation. We've seen a good push to the upside. Now we're looking at this structure So basically, it pushed to this region, break, retest, retest this region, break, retest, and continue to the upside. This is what I'm looking out for. And then if price breaks below this region, then we might just see price come retest this region one more time. So that's that for the week. My best setup is pound USD. I'm looking out to see a bullish move on this one this week, and let's back some pips DXY to the downside. All right, see you guys on the during the weekend for a recap, and make sure you back some pips this week. Ciao.